So I called it. I told you for 3 weeks in a row, I thought we'd hit the bottom, and that's exactly what happened. Now, today, I'm going to show you why I saw that. I'm going to look at charts for Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Palantir, SoFi, and Tesla. And don't forget, I want to give you the game plan for the week. I see 4 reasons why we can still be bullish, but 2 reasons that have me a little bit concerned. So if that sounds good to you, let's get busy. So let's see. I've been telling you for the last 3 weeks in a row, if you only watched the videos that come out on Sundays, that we had hit the bottom. And of course, I called it. Right now, I need you to tell everybody that I called it. Now, I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to tell you, you can listen to the market. You can learn what the market is saying. You can read the market, just like whenever you were in 6th grade band and you learned to read sheet music for the first time. You can do this too. Now, we're going to start with the trend. The trend on the SPY has officially reversed. Now, we can follow this with the outlier trend template, having the 10 period, which just crossed over. Let me zoom in a little bit more. The 10 period EMA crossed over the 20 period EMA, and price is now over the 50 period EMA. So we have officially started a new bullish trend, but don't get that construed. Don't get that construed to say, okay, here we go, new all-time highs, right? AMD also had a bullish trend right here on these 3 candles, and then it went right back down. So I want you to know this in particular. The market has a bullish trend right now. The trend can persist as long as market participants are coming and buying more stock. Does that mean it'll last forever? Not necessarily, but for right now, the trend is up, and that is a great thing. That is a great thing, right? If you've been following along, we sidestepped this entire move down. This 20-something% move down was completely sidestepped. And because of that, I'm now sitting on a nice gain in my portfolio, where a lot of people who are following other YouTubers' advice are sitting on monster losses, massive losses, and maybe you are too. And I don't want that for you. You need to subscribe to this channel and not go anywhere else, okay? My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So like I say, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, the second thing that's encouraging to me is we have a buy signal on the S&P 500. We got this buy signal on April 25th. So we have a bullish trend with a buy signal inside of Outlier. Both of those are working together to help us have a bullish thesis on the market, a bullish posture on the market, okay? Next, the S&P is getting greedy. This is what we want to see. The S&P 500 is getting greedy. So when we look at the outlier data right here, you can see how fearful it got. We got down to 27 out of 100, and now it's moved up into 53 out of 100. So we've officially crossed from fear into greed. And if we look at this right here, we can see we are now on the greedy side of the spectrum and no longer on the fearful side. So that's exciting. Now, also, which is exciting, the average of the 500-ish stocks that are in the S&P 500, they are also losing their fear and getting more greedy. So this is exactly what you want to see. The market itself being greedy and the average of everybody in the market getting less fearful, moving more greedy. Man, this is a great start. This is a great start. Next, there's no order blocks in the way, no outlier blocks in the way of the S&P 500. If we look at this right here, outlier blocks are strong areas of support and resistance where institutional buyers or sellers are ready to come in and fill those orders, right? Now, I had told you, watch for these double, triple, quadrupled order blocks down here, and it bounced right there. And that was one of the reasons I said I think we had hit a bottom, was because we had a lot of support down here. And look what happened after that, right? Now, we don't have anything in the way from around 568 at the time I'm recording this up to around 608. So we've got $40 on the SPY. How big of a move is that? We've got basically a 7% move on the SPY before we see any overhead resistance right here. So that's really exciting. That's what you want to see whenever you're getting to a stock. It's got a buy signal. It's getting less fearful, more greedy. The average, everything that makes up the S&P 500 on average is getting less fearful, more greedy. This is a fantastic start. This is awesome. Next, I have some problems. Next, let me point out to you what I think is the biggest problem in the market right now. And that's that market breadth has gotten very euphoric. So there's a term called irrational exuberance in the market. Whenever you see irrational exuberance, this is when everybody is screaming buy. Everybody's screaming buy, or everybody's screaming sell. And if we look at this chart right here, this is the market cycle. And this is what it looks like when people are buying and selling, okay? We went from hope, optimism, and skipped right up to euphoria within a moment. Now, I traded one name this week, AT&T, and I made 15% on my options. It was live on YouTube. You are more than welcome to follow along on my trades if you choose to, but every single trade that I put on is right here on this channel live for you, and it's been going back for years. I've made over 2,000 videos. I'm super glad you finally found me. Now, looking at this, let's go to the market breadth. So market breadth has me very, very concerned. So the green line right here is measuring the number of stocks that we have buy signals for inside of OVTLYR. And now let's see where that list is right now. Today, Friday, when I'm recording this at 1:44 p.m. Central Time, we had 59 new buy signals and we have 172 new sell signals just today on Friday. This is concerning because this here is representing how many buy signals we have out of 100%. We peaked at 80%. And then it's come back down from 80 to 78 to 73. It's coming down fast. And if you look over here, this shows the different sectors. 3 sectors are already bearish. 3 sectors have already crossed this 10 EMA for a bearish crossover, and several more are looking right at it. Now, like I say, this went from hope, optimism, and skipped right over belief, thrill, and went straight to euphoria, and then it pulled back. And that was my exit signal on AT&T, and that's how I was able to capture gains in a couple days. That was it right here, following the market breadth. Now, this has me concerned because once we have all these people who are right here at euphoria screaming buy, 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 and if all the buyers have come to town, who's left? If all the buyers have already bought, who is left? What's left is for those buyers to turn into sellers, and then we get right back this way. We get right back over here. Now, I want to point out that this is exactly how the market breadth has performed over time. We have these cycles over and over and over. And I have shown week after week how this is absolutely continuing to be a leading indicator on the market. Does it say it's going to crash? No. Does it say it's going to go to all-time highs? No. But it gives you a broad sense of where things are about to be headed. And to me, I think, just based on this chart, that we might have peaked because of the excitement, because of the euphoria, and we might be turning back really soon. Not exactly what you want to hear. I know. Like I said, I had 4 reasons that were bullish and 2 reasons that are bearish. That was my number 1 reason. Now, real quick, what is OVTLYR and how does it work? Well, old Uncle Warren would say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Now, plotting that on the chart right here, I got really fearful this week when people started going hog wild, buying everything they can, saying, this is it. Here we go. Back to the moon. Right? And I was greedy on this side when people weren't quite there yet. So that's what I'm trying to get across here, is that OVTLYR shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy, and by how much, which is data you can't get anywhere else, which allows you to get into the stock before the OVTLYR move happens. And if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, be sure to head on over to OVTLYR.com. You can get OVTLYR for just 82 cents a day. Are you kidding? It's 64% off the monthly price. And if you're on the monthly plan, you can click and save 64% with 1-click upgrade, just like that. Now, the 6th wild card, this has been my wild card basically all year. This is the Uno reverse card that nobody wants to play, but keeps happening. It's me, sitting on the toilet, telling everybody just how big of a genius I am. And sometimes I look not so genius because the market goes down. But don't worry, I'll just tell everybody today's a great day to buy and it's going to go back up. And if only Joe Biden would have listened to me, and Xi and Putin and all those dummies, if they listened to me, they would be so smart just like me and have their own golden toilets, right? Now, politics aside, listen, I get both sides. People saying they love the impression, people say they hate the impression. The point is that we don't know what he is going to do. This man right here, his 2 thumbs sitting on that toilet, are running the market. It's a crazy thought, but this right here can change everything in a moment's notice, and nobody can predict that. We can have all the best data in the world, but if Trump puts out the wrong tweet, it's over. It's game over. Or gangbusters. We don't really know. So that's why we always need to keep our risk in check. So I promise you some charts. Let's take a look at Apple, NVIDIA, and Amazon. Some of the biggest names in the market, which are going to help drive the market. Let's look at those first. So first, let's look at Apple. In Apple, we have a buy signal. That's great. We don't quite have that 10-20-50 crossed yet. In fact, I think Apple reported some pretty bad earnings. Yeah, right here. So we actually might be seeing a bearish trend come back on Apple. We have the fear evaporating out of here. We have the fear in the tech sector on average coming back up. But Apple still has a bit of fear, right? Apple's still sitting solidly in the fear group. And this was before the earnings announcement came out. Next, NVIDIA. NVIDIA sitting on a buy signal, getting less fearful, moving towards greed. The average of the tech sector moving towards greed. That's what you want to see. And NVIDIA itself still sitting in fear, where the average for the sector is sitting in neutral. Very interesting right there. Next, let's look at Amazon. So here we can see Amazon once again getting less fearful. The discretionary sector getting less fearful, sitting on a buy signal. I mean, it's the same story over and over. I think Amazon may have crossed a day. Let's double check with that real quick. AMZN. Amazon, not quite. It's kissing that 50 period moving average. Remember, we want to see the 10 over the 20, price over the 50. And when that happens, this background up here will turn green, makes it super simple to read if it's in an uptrend or downtrend. And when it's white like this, it's in betwixt uptrend and downtrend. So Amazon, not quite there yet. Now, I promised a few others, right? I know these are the ones that you guys are loving to watch right now. Palantir. Palantir's been absolutely on a gangbusters lately. Buy signal came through on April 25th. We already had the moving averages crossed up. Our outlier trend template was looking good. We saw it getting more greedy, more and more greedy right now. It's sitting at 68 on the greed scale. The tech sector getting less fearful, more greedy. And if we pop this open here, it's solidly up in the greed. And this is what you want. You want your stocks to be moving up that greed chart. Where is that chart at? You want your stocks to be moving up this greed chart right here. Once they've peaked, that's when you need to get out quickly, because right here is a great example. The further up it goes, so this is at 92 out of 100. The further up it goes, the harder it can snap back. And Palantir is a perfect example of that. Where's my Palantir at? There it is. Palantir is a perfect example of that. Right here, around February 12th, February 13th, it was pushing 92, 93 on the fear and greed. We got a sell signal right 2 days before the top, and then it snapped back. It snapped back, right? People got super euphoric, super thrilled, super complacency, and then, oh, my bad. That's what you don't want to happen to you. Now, we're moving back up into greed. We're at 68 right now, so it's not super scary just yet, but be very wareful. In fact, it goes on the opposite direction, right? People were ultra fearful right here at 13, and what happened? Snap back the other direction. Snap back the other direction. When people got angry, depression, disbelief, it snapped right back. This is why you need to be paying attention to the market. Next, let's look at SoFi. I know there's tons of SoFi bros out there, and they've been pretty disappointed with earnings this week. But we do have the 10, 20, 50 crossed up, but we got a sell signal today on Friday on SoFi. So that's up to you if you want to get out right now. But it is getting a little bit more greedy. However, it may have peaked. We want to see it moving up, and we're seeing it moving down. The rest of the financial sector, though, is looking really strong. And SoFi is still sitting in the greed category right there. And then lastly, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's one of those stocks where it's like a lot of people made a lot of boneheaded choices with Tesla. This was a 124% up move, a 124% up move. And a lot of people held it 100% back down to where it was. And what I'm trying to tell you here is that if you call yourself a long-term investor and you watched a 124% move evaporate and take you to back where it was in October, you're not playing the game right. You can be a long-term investor and be very defensive with your picks. But we do have a crossover right now. We have the 10, 20, 50 all crossed over today. You can see that's green. You can see it's got a buy signal. You can see it's getting less fearful, moving towards greed. You can see the discretionary sector doing the same thing here. So Tesla might just start a new run. It might just start a new run. But here's the deal. All of this can go out the window. All of this can go out the window if you put on a position that's too big for you and you can't control your risk. All of this can go out the window if the trend turns around and goes against us, right? And that's why we need to be risk-first traders. And that's why I want you to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk by clicking one of these two videos. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow on Monday. We'll talk soon.